Hi, I'm Harriet from Birmingham Children's Emergency Department. I want to talk to you about common concerns with newborn babies and to let you know that despite COVID, there are still many services available to you that you may not be aware of.
My baby won't stop crying. I don't know what to do.
Infant crying is normal and it will stop. It is designed to get your attention and you may be worried that there is something wrong. Babies usually cry more frequently from around 2 weeks old. The crying may get more frequent and last longer until about 6 to 8 weeks. After about 8 weeks, babies start to cry less each week. Babies can cry for very different reasons, like when they're hungry, wet, dirty, or if they're unwell. Sometimes babies can cry for no particular reason. Comforting methods can help, but remember, if not, that is okay. This phase will pass and it's okay to walk away if you have checked your baby is safe and the crying is getting to you. You can then return after a few minutes when you're feeling calm and check the baby. Remember, never shake or hurt a baby. Speak to someone if you need support, such as a family member, friends, midwife, GP or health visitor. Also, Icon is a charity that has lots of information about infant crying. Why not check it out?
My baby has a temperature. What should I do?
I recommend using a thermometer that goes under the baby's armpit as the most accurate. Forehead thermometers are not accurate. You should always get advice urgently from a healthcare professional if your baby is less than 3 months old and has a fever over 38 degrees. Their immune systems are still immature and they have not yet had their first course of vaccinations, so need to be assessed by a doctor. It is also important to remember that thankfully, research has shown that very few babies become very unwell with COVID-19.
I'm worried my baby isn't getting enough milk.
Babies are usually very good at knowing how much milk they need. They won't necessarily feed the same amount every day at the same time. During growth spurts, they may feed more often in bigger quantities. Don't focus on how much, how often or how regularly your baby is feeding. Instead, look for steady weight gain and then being settled between feeds. Don't encourage your baby to finish a bottle if they've seemed to have lost interest. If your baby is vomiting after feeding, it may mean they've had too much. A little bit of paucity, where the baby brings up a very small amount of milk after feeding, is normal as long as your baby is gaining weight. Lots of women need support when establishing breastfeeding. There are several services available to you: the National Breastfeeding Helpline and La Leche. Also, your health visitor and midwife can arrange a virtual call with a breastfeeding advisor.
I feel overwhelmed. What should I do?
Like many people now, you may be feeling anxious. One way to manage your anxiety is to remember that your body is currently going through sudden and hormonal chemical changes after giving birth. Your body has just gone through an extraordinary experience and it may take a time for everything to go back to normal. These changes are likely to affect how you feel emotionally. Sometimes, and seemingly out of nowhere, all you might want to do is cry. This is something called the baby blues. This usually starts in the first few weeks after birth and stops when your baby's around 10 days old. Symptoms include feeling emotional and irrational, bursting into tears for no apparent reason, feeling irritable or touchy, feeling depressed or anxious. Baby blues is not the same as postnatal depression. If your symptoms aren't improving after a couple of weeks, talk to your health visitor or GP. You may need more support and you can contact them by phone. And in some cases, they will see you and your baby face to face, especially for the baby check and for their vaccinations.